Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session on Turnitin for students, and I would like to welcome Mr. Sachin Gurve for accepting our invitation to be trainer for this session for you. We have been using Turnitin for many years, almost 11 years now, and perhaps this is the first time that we are organizing a formal training for the students. Just to put things in perspective, in most cases, or maybe almost every time, the students are required to interact only with their instructor rather than me as an administrator. So I think hopefully this session will help you, some clarity on as a student what you can do, and if you have a problem, whom to approach, and understand your role, and maybe use this tool, this facility for your learning, just not to get your assignment checked through plagiarism also, but also make it a useful tool for your learning purpose. So with that, I welcome again Mr. Sachin Gurve to the session and hand over the platform to him.
Sure. Thank you, sir, Chavan sir, and I'm thrilled to do this particular session with your end users. I also thank Ritu madam to facilitate, allowing us to facilitate this particular session, which is the essential part of the entire platform. So, hi everyone, my name is Sachin and I'm the professional educational consultant. I work with the PS team of Turnitin and I look after the South Asian market. It is my privilege to get connected with the institution of repute like OP Jindal Global University. And like while we resume our session, in case you have any queries or question, you can always reach to us. So before just start of the session, we'll understand the tone of the platform. So dear students, you might be using Zoom platform. So on the Zoom console, you can see two different icons. One is the microphone icon. You can unmute yourself in case you wanted to ask any questions or queries. Subsequently, there is a chat box icon. So you can use the chat box console to address your concerns or queries, or I'll be sharing our email IDs to reach us for any future related queries or questions. So this is the things which we'll be looking today as a part of agenda. I'll take you to the Feedback Studio introduction, and I'll tell you what is your specific roles to use this platform. There is an student dashboard. I'll take you to the live platform of the Turnitin Feedback Studio application. And also I'll be sharing the access help guides, support center and status page, where you can basically understand more in depth about any specific procedure or steps. So first thing first, what is Feedback Studio? Dear students, Feedback Studio, I'll just come on the center part of the presentation. Turnitin is the company name, and the product or the tool which you will be using is the Feedback Studio. So basically, the Turnitin Feedback Studio is a similarity checking tool, and we have some of the exciting features at the admin level and at the instructor level, where submissions can be checked against the parameters set by the institution in terms of original writing. The thrust area as a whole ecosystem of TFS is basically that it supports academic integrity, improves the instructors or faculty's efficiency, and ensures the student like you in success in writing original work and beyond to develop your skill sets for future employability. So the basic part is how will you be accessing your account. One is through the direct method, which I'll take you, that is by going into the turnitin.com and you can access your profile. The other way is by there is an LMS integration done. Like I have heard, there is a module integration done at the institution level, so you can access your account profile with these two methods. So we'll understand the ecosystem of the entire platform. So there are basically three users. One is the admin level, like Chavan sir and the Ritu madam, and there comes the instructor, who is the core part of the platform. uh, Instructor, basically they create class and assignments for you, and they will be able to enroll you for their specific classes. The end users, which are the students, they basically have two major part, like they will able to submit their papers or submissions to any assignments. And there are methods where as a student you can also self join to any specific classes, depend on the instructor guidelines. So how can you basically access your account profile? As I told you, there are two methods. One is like self enrolling. Whenever your instructor or a faculty or an HOD, they create a class, they will be sharing these two different details with you. One is the class ID, they have created for you, and other is the enrollment key. Enrollment key is something like a password, and please be careful while using this particular credentials when your faculty shares with you. They are confidential in nature, so please do not broadcast or share these details with the other users. The other method is by instructor. They themselves can enroll you to the specific class. Please remember, dear students, whenever instructor adds at their end, you will be receiving an email from this particular email handle, that is no reply@turnitin.com. So please do check your inbox. If it is not available in your inbox, please do check in spam folders, etc. It will be available, or you can reach to your specific instructor. The welcome email in your inbox something typically looks like this structure. So please remember, no reply@turnitin is the email ID from where you will get registration credentials to do further registration. Click on the submit account for further necessary process, and you are in. So dear students, one of the simplest way to access your account is by going to www.turnitin.com. You can note down this particular website, and to access your account you don't need to basically install any software or application. Just visit to this particular website, because the application is an SaaS enabled application. Click on the login tab and you are in. Okay.
So how to get our login details?
I'll come to you, Makran. I'll come to you. So, dear students, whenever you get credentials, like an email from the faculty, sir, I'll be just pausing for 1 second, sir. Just 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, attendees, I kept you on mute. So, dear attendees, what you need to do is just visit www.turnitin.com. This is the official web page of turnitin.com, and on my right hand side you can see there is a contact sales details tab, and above there is a login tab. So what you need to do is, whenever you receive an email something like this from your instructor, this type of email, you need to click on set up your account, and you need to fill in the necessary details like your first name, last name, etc. There is a login tab, just click on it, and there is something known as the new user tab here. Just click here. There is student, click on it, and you'll be getting this class ID and the enrollment key, which your respective instructor or faculty will share with you. Put in your first name, last name, and there is an email ID, password. Confirm the security questions. Click on the license agreement, and you can create your profile. This is one of the simplest ways.
Can I intervene here at this stage? I think it's for the benefit of all the students. You must use only the JGU email ID and must create only one account. Any account which exists without, in addition to JGU email ID or outside JGU email ID, will be removed without any advance notice. So whatever you have done with an account which does not have a JGU email ID, there may be a problem. So please do not create your account with the non-JGU email ID. That is my request, and I would like to inform you that I do very often. Any account created, any student account created with a non-JGU email ID is deleted without any warning. Thank you.
Chavan sir, I fully endorse your vision. Like the students should always use their institutional email ID. I'll take forward this. I'll be adding.
So before you go ahead, can you clear a small doubt?
Yeah, Ashish.
Sir, so can I check for plagiarism without the instructor creating a class?
No.
Because a lot of assignments are sent to us via mail, so I don't know how to check for plagiarism for those assignments.
Ashish, there is a standard operating procedure. You need to enter that particular process. Unless and until the criteria meets for the similarity, you cannot go ahead.
So I don't understand.
And see, this is for every student. You must understand this tool is to check your submissions, your assignments, okay, primarily by the instructor. Whether you have copied something, you have plagiarized something, then instructor should know that. It is not something in tool in your hand that you should check your plagiarism first and then submit. So I think that must be very clear to you. Okay, the assignment, your score or your plagiarism check will be shared by the instructor after he or she has checked your assignment. Okay, so this is not, you can only submit assignment to your instructor.
Thank you, sir. So while doing all the necessary details, please validate all the information. Once you are confirmed with all the inputs, click on the I agree tab and you are in. Dear student, like what Chavan sir has said, please ensure using your credentials only. As I've said, the non-institutional email IDs like Gmail or Yahoo won't be accepted around this platform. So fill in all the necessary details, dear students, and the credentials to login will always be your institutional email ID and a password. And once you are done, click on the login tab and you are in. Dear students, what on my screen you see is the original dashboard which you will see once you log in with your credentials. We'll understand the basics part of this dashboard. On the top of side of the web page with a black background, it will display who is the current user logged in. Next is about the user info. So it will basically give you the basic information about your account. Okay, how you wish to view your dashboard. Next is about the messages. This is very essential part. So in case your instructor has broadcasted any notification, circulars or notices, it can be viewed in this particular menu, that is the message tab. This is the student who is being currently logged in. This is my demo account, so I can toggle between administrator and the instructor account. However, for your part, you will be only able to see the student part. You can change the language preference, and there is something known as the help part. So I'll be taking you to various support center link, help guides, etc., where you can deep understand more about the specific procedure or steps. So first thing first, just validate all the information given on the top hand side panel. We come to the next part on my left hand side under the Turnitin logo. There is all classes. So all classes basically highlights a number of classes your instructor has enrolled for you. It will give you the class ID, okay, which is always unique in nature, and it is internal to the administrator and the instructor. It is the class name reflected here. Instructor is the faculty or HOD's name will appear here. Sometimes like Ritu madam will Ritu ma'am name will appear, or any of your HODs or faculty's name will appear here. It will highlight the status whether the specific class is activate or deactivate. There is very vital information like start date and the end date. It basically denotes the maturity of this particular class. So you can with this data you can able to see what is the status of this class and from what is the start and end date. By mistakenly, if the instructor has added you or you have enrolled into wrong class, you can drop that specific class by clicking on this icon. Okay. So dear students, whenever you are into the class, I'll just tell you about some basic part of your dashboard. There is something known as an enroll in a class, which I discussed with you in initial part. Class ID and the enrollment key will always be shared by the instructors to you. So as I request, please do not broadcast, share this class ID and enrollment key with anyone, either in your department or in your section or external users. They are confidential in nature, and whenever class ID or the enrollment key shared, it is being tracked whether it is being used by the institutional users or external users. So please be careful on this part. So the class ID, I'll just show you like how does it looks like. On my screen you can see this is the standard way this the class ID looks like and the enrollment. Okay, so put in the class ID enrollment here and submit, and you are into that specific class created by the instructor. Dear students, before we dwell into the actual part of the PFS platform, there are two very important features given, like what is about the plagiarism. So once you click on it, it will take you to the new tab in your browser, which basically speaks about the plagiarism. What are the things which you need to avoid while writing any submissions like case studies or project report or any assignments? What are the things which you need to be very careful while writing the things? What are the latest ways where you can draft original documents? These are the page where you can learn more about the plagiarism part, and you can also learn more about the spectrum of the plagiarism. If time permit, I'll show you like what is the plagiarism spectrum. Also, one of the important part is about the citation.
Sachin, can you just give them recap? There are some questions about how to enroll in Oneternity. I think maybe that starting your account. At that part, can you just go back to that screen again? I think that people have confused that there is enroll in a class and registration or Turnitin are two different steps. So first they have to register on Turnitin account. Create their account first on turnitin.com, and then enroll in a class, and that can be done either by the teacher or by the students himself or herself, when the teacher shares class ID and join password.
Sure.
Can you just repeat that?
Yeah. Dear student, as I said, there are two different ways where you can enroll to this particular platform. As I said, your faculties will able to register you for that specific class. The other way is like whenever the faculties or HODs share the class ID and the password, the enrollment key with you, what you need to do is go into the turnitin.com and click on the login page. There is something written as new user. Click here and there is a student tab here. Just click on it, and the class ID and the enrollment key which has been shared by the your instructor, just write put in that class ID and the enrollment key here, something like this. Put your first name, okay, and there is your last name, that is the surname. You can choose the way which through which you wanted to display your name among this feature. Use your institutional email ID only. What Chavan sir has added, please use your institutional email ID. We won't be accepting the Gmail or Yahoo email ID. Retype your email ID, enter your password, confirm your password, which can be set by you. Select a secret question among these options, write in the correct answer, and there is an user admin, go through it, okay, and click on this box and click on I agree and you are in. This is the very simple steps where you can enroll for that specific class. This is the way where once you receive your class ID and the enrollment key, you will be able to log in into this account. Okay. One more thing, please students, be very careful whenever you click on I agree tab. Before that, please review all the details, like the class ID, enrollment key, check the spellings of your first name and the last name, and that's it, you are in. So dear students, yes. So dear students, apart from understanding the aspects of plagiarism, there is something very important which says about the citation help. So normally what happens as a new user, sometimes I also face difficulty in what pattern or style I have to write my document. So this particular page will help you to understand how to cite or to give proper quoted materials, how to use bibliographic materials in your submissions. So please understand this aspects of citations. So you will be able to draft some of the original work, and as I said, once your document is original and it meets all the parameters of using proper quoted material and bibliographic material, you will be able to sustain the long-term deter effects of plagiarism. So please go through with this particular part before you start writing. You can also contact your HODs to understand the vision in terms of how the document should be drafted, how the quoted materials can be used in the submissions, and subsequently how the bibliographic or the reference materials are quoted in the particular paper. So this way you can go through with this to make yourself acquainted with the paper writing in terms of original work. So this is about the basic part of your account, dear students. Once you are into your account, if there are class ID or enrollment key shared by your faculty, just click on it and you are in. 1 minute. So dear students, we have seen about the basic part of the user account, that is the student, and we have seen how you can do registration of yourself, how can you enroll in a class, and we understood what is tab of the plagiarism and citation help. Once you are into your account, you can see on the bottom side of my page is the classes which you have been enrolled here. It will be displayed something like this. And what I am doing right now is I'll take you to inside to the classroom here. I'm just taking an example here. I'll go into this specific class here. And This is my class homepage, and basically it highlights or displays the number of assignments I have been enrolled to. So you can see there are two different assignments which I have been enrolled. And first thing, we'll understand what are the things given on the class homepage. So this is the assignment title. For example, this is the thesis for MBA for the academic year 2020. So the faculties or your HODs might come with the subsequent assignment titles. It will be displayed here. There are two different important information under the info tab here, which is basically the instructions given by your instructor. So before you start doing the submissions, please refer to this info tab. The blue background icon, which is basically the instructions given by your HODs or the instructors. The primary areas for the instruction is basically they wanted to appraise you about the various possibilities to write that submissions, like the word count or using proper template, etc. All these instructions will be displayed here. So please for every assignment you are being enrolled, do check any instruction given by your instructor. There is something known as this rubric part. You can see rubric are basically an assessment based feedback given to your submission. So in case your instructor have given you any rubric, it will be displayed here. I'll just show you a screenshot like how does that rubric basically looks like. I'll just show you. Dear student, this is something like a rubric grab I have taken. So like if your assignment has been checked on certain rubric defined by the instructor, for example, I have created a rubric which says research paper rubric sample. So based on certain criteria and scale, your instructor will give you rubric to basically have an comprehensive feedback on overall performance of your submission. So just validate the rubric part. It will be displayed in this brick icon here. There is very important information described under the dates tab here. There are three things which says about the start date, due date and the post date. I'll tell you what is the significance for your future reference. Start dates basically highlights when will this particular assignment has been commenced. Okay, that is 29th May. The start of the assignment has been begun. And there is also a time picker. So be careful on these two different parameters of start date. There is something known as due date. Due date is till the time where submissions can be made. That is October 1st and the time is around 12 p.m. So please be careful.
Sachin, can I ask you a question on this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there any mechanism, because I have not seen a student, how does the student account operate? But do the students get a kind of alert or something when something is expiring, the
yes, sir.
Submission date or time?
Sir, there is something known as the calendar feature here, sir. This is the calendar feature where they can keep on tab of various assignment based start and end date, where they can validate what are the important happenings for that specific month, sir. With this, they can be alerted about the development of any assignment, sir. So dear students, please before start of any submissions, just validate all this information, plan your submissions according to this particular start and due date. There is something a post date where the faculty has liberty, where your submissions can be made, but please be careful to adhere to the timelines set by your HODs or faculties. There is something known as a similarity tab, and it basically highlights what is the overall percentage of your submission. It says 92%. There are certain action buttons, dear faculty, dear students, which say submit, view and download. Okay. So whenever your class is activate, like since the date has gone, I cannot make any submissions. If you see the submit tab is not highlighted, it means I cannot make any submission. I come to the next submit tab, which is basically activated till 16th of October, where I can make my submission. So whenever you are into any specific assignment, please check on the submit tab and the date part. So whenever you wanted or you wish to make any submissions at your end, what can you do is click on the submit tab. Okay. There are two things, dear students, where you cannot manipulate, modify, or correct your first name and last name. You can see with my live example, I am not able to make any corrections with my name. Okay. I have to give a submission a suitable title here. Okay. So whatever is the assignment based submission, you will need to type that particular title here. What can I suggest you is like you start using your initial name. Okay. If the assignment title is case studies on artificial intelligence project for, or you can write your roll number for faculties to understand very easily. So you can use this template at your end also. Dear students, there is very important information which I have shared yesterday with the stakeholders of your institute. Like what are the things which you can submit as a part of your submission. Just click on it, and there are certain file formats which you need to adhere. I'll just share you things, what are the standard file formats supported by Turnitin. I'll just share an example. Dear students, these are the standard files or format supported by this platform. Please adhere to this extension of files. So whenever you are using any submissions, please ensure the documents meet these particular criteria. It could be the Word file or PDF file, open text file, HTML, plain text, etc. Whatever formats you use, please ensure they meet this criteria. If you are using any Apple Pages, please convert that into the PDF format, and you can upload that submission also. Currently we are not supporting Apple Pages, so please ensure you convert that into PDF and you can do the necessary submissions. Also, these are the file requirement for specification. Please do not upload any submissions which are password protected. Similarity report won't be generated for such documents. Your submission should contain 20 words. Your submission should contain more than 20 words. It should be in around 800 pages in length, and the size of that document should be always 100 MB in size. So please ensure before submitting any submission in the TFS, this criteria are always met. I'll be sharing this detail with you also, so at your end you can confirm submissions meet this criteria. So type in your submission title here, and you can refer this point also. You have two choices. Either you can choose from your computer, you go to the destination and you choose that file. Other way is like if you have stored your submissions in Google Drive, you can click and you can access that drive and you can upload your submissions. So my final note on this is particular step is please ensure your submission meets the specification criteria. I'll be sharing, as I said, I'll be sharing this detail with you also. So once you are done, click on the upload tab and your submissions will be uploaded. Okay. Okay. What you need to be careful is about two things: the start and end date of the submission, and the other part is like your submission should meet the specification criteria. So once you are done, dear students, your faculty will review your submission based on similarity report, and once your due date has expired, you will able to get this similarity score. Okay, until the due date has expired, you won't be able to see this score. Okay, since on this particular submission titled as WXY, my due date is 16th of October. Till this date has achieved, I won't be able to see my similarity score. This is the part where you will able to upload your submissions. There is a view tab, dear students, where you can see the grade marks given by your student and the similarity report. Okay, your similarity document will look like this. Okay, once all the grading and score has been generated, you will able to see this. Just take an example, like this is my document, and we'll basically understand like how to interpret the similarity report. I'll take you to each part of the menu. First, we'll understand some basic things in the similarity report. On my top hand side, it will display the student name here. It will display the submission title here. There is something written as 3/10, which is basically a grade given by your faculty or NHOD. So I have been given 3 marks out of 10. There is a question mark icon on the extreme corner, which is again a help section where you can understand how similarity report works. The center part of the document is the document which I have submitted to my instructor, and it looks like something like this. So what you need to first understand is what is the exact score of my similarity index. So it says 92%. Okay, click on it, and what you see is whatever the highlighted part of my document is basically the text march which is known to the content. Okay, as you scroll down, you can see certain parts of my submissions are highlighted with colors. Also, please remember, dear students, if you are using any footer notes in your assignments, that will be taken into consideration for similarity report checking. Okay, I'll just take you to the basic part, what happens when you do submissions. So whenever a student submits their paper or file to the assignment, Turnitin will generate a similarity report. And what are you are seeing on my screen are the areas of text in the work or the submission by the student that is matching to the content that are highlighted in my repository. Dear students, I'll just pause here to tell you that Turnitin has one of the largest paper repository of 1.3 billion papers, 85 plus billion current and archived internet pages, scholarly repository of journals and periodicals. So what happens whenever a similarity report is being generated, your submissions are being checked across this particular repository, and if there are any instance of matching, it will be highlighted in this particular report. Okay, first thing first, you can see on my screen is there is a red panel, and it highlights 92. 92 is my similarity index, which is being covered in the match overview panel. Okay, there are 2 different matches which has been found in my report, and as you can see, there are 2 sources. They are taken from internet, and they have come from this particular website URL link. Okay, The first consists of 87% of match, and the other consists of 5%. Okay, this made this two source match makes 82%. Okay, and like what will happen whenever you receive your similarity score, your faculty or an HOD will give you certain feedbacks to you for an improvement or corrections. You can see certain blue part. These are the feedbacks given to you by your faculties. So you can refer this particular part. They are known as quick marks, and they are basically an way to improve your writing that meets the institutional criteria of writing any original document. So you can refer this quick marks which are highlighted in blue color. You can make the necessary changes as per the guidelines given by your instructor. So first thing first, we'll check what does this red panel mean to you. Match overview, as I discussed, it will list all the areas of the paper which has this similarity to the information as per our repository, and it are always displayed from higher order to the lower order. What you need to do is go into the match overview panel, understand what are the matches displayed. uh, Next to the 87%, there is an arrow icon. Just click on it. It will take you to the breakdown part. Okay, you can see the breakdown part. So the breakdown is basically it basically highlights matches that are taken by the top sources, allowing students to compare the match instance of an underlying source that has been found from the top sources. Okay, what can you do is, under the match breakdown, dear students, once you click on any part, it will display that specific source history. Okay, sorry, it will display that where that submissions has already been made. Okay, refer to that URL link, and under your submission a box will appear which basically is the document to document viewer. It is the it will show you which is the source, that is the internet taken from this particular URL. Okay, the red part highlighted displays the source which has been found, and if you wanted to understand more about this specific source, what you need to do is, there is a book icon given here. Okay, which is basically the full source. Okay, full source text view will take you to the master information or the original place where this match has been found. The red color which is being highlighted under the full source text is the exact match found in my submission. Okay, please understand these things very carefully when you are reviewing your document with full source text here. Check in whether you have used any quoted or bibliographic material. Check on those parameters, understand what is the match it has found, and you are in. Okay, next to the match overview panel, there is something known as the all sources tab here. So you will get to understand what are the sources. You can see there are certain sources which says about student papers, and this particular submission part is somewhere being submitted to any other university. So you can just cross check whether any part of your submissions has already been submitted somewhere, so you can validate with this particular tabs. Okay, just refer to this part whether this has been submitted somewhere. Okay, this way you can basically cross check your submissions with these sources. You speak to your HODs or instructor like ways it can be cluttered down. There is an filters and settings tab, dear student, and if you have received any instruction from your institute or faculties or HODs, you can do the exclusions of quoted or bibliographic materials if they are in your submissions. So if you click here, you can exclude those material. You can exclude certain sources. A string, consecutive words can be excluded from your words. Before that, what I need to tell you is that whenever you enable this particular feature, it will be automatically being intimated to your instructors. Without their permission, please do not use this feature. Okay, I repeat, without their permission, please do not use any of the filters and settings feature. And you apply changes.
Sachin, there is a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
About this, this report, the originality report or similarity report. There's a question where is this done before the final submission? So probably the meaning of that question is see that normally the instructor will not will allow only one submission. Once you submit it, it will be final. And once the due date is over, you will get this report automatically, and your assignment is assessed or evaluated. Okay, but there may be some catches in some kind of assignments where instructor may allow you to resubmit until the due date.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
This could be done in case of, let's say, research paper or a thesis or something like that. Okay, so the question is whether for each successive submission until it is final, will the student get to know this report? Since you said that it will be available only after the due date.
Correct, sir. Correct.
Yes.
So, sir, after the due date has completed, they will be able to see that similarity score, and unless and until they won't be able to see their similarity score.
So, irrespective of the number of submission until the due date, they will only see one similarity report, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it must be understood. You have no access to similarity report until it is final and it is due only after the due date.
Yes, sir. Sir, like I wanted to add here one of the important part which we discussed yesterday. Dear student, what happened whenever you make 3 consecutive submissions? There will be a locking period of 24 hours. Okay, this is basically to ensure that misuse of the using this feature. So please remember, whenever you make any consecutive 3 submissions, it could be in 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month, whenever. So whenever the trigger attends the 3rd submission, automatic 24 freeze period will be activated, and after 24 hours you can do 3 more consecutive submissions. Please remember those. Dear faculties, what happens whenever the instructor reviews your submissions? You can see a blue panel here that displays the instructor feedbacks. So you can view any specific feedbacks given by your instructor for any improvement, corrections, or modification in your submissions. So whenever you are reviewing your similarity document, please review to this feedback also. They are very essential to basically enhance your performance of original writing. For example, my instructor has given me this particular text comment which says, kindly use the proper citation style in this paper. Do check the paperwork count. So I need to understand this particular text comment, and I have to work out what my instructor has said to do the corrections part. If my instructor has given me any rubric assigned to the performance of my submission, you can view their rubric also. I'll just click here, and this is the way where you can check your rubric on what parameters my instructor has assigned me internal marks. Okay, you can see that highlighted part. Okay, and my score on the rubric scale is 15 out of 50. Okay, this way I can understand on what parameters my instructor has internally checked my submissions. Dear student, one of the important aspects of similarity report is the ETS E-Rater feature. Under the red panel, you can see a purple icon. The significance of having the ETS e-rater is basically checks your submissions on the English mechanics parameters. Whether you have used any wrong spelling, etc., it will be highlighted here. So in case you wanted to understand ETS e-rater feature, everything which is being highlighted with the purple color is the ETS e-rater feature. Okay, you can see on my screen, it displays that there is an article error. There is something is missing. So this particular feature will also enhance your writing skills. So sometimes we are not so serious about writing the papers or meeting the English parameters criteria. So this feature will also give you basic understanding like how the paper should be written in correct format using English language. Okay, you can see sentence gap is there, proofreading is required, so it is being automatically calculated. So you need to review this apart from the similarity scores sources. You need to check your submissions on ETS e-rater. Okay, under the ETS e-rater there is a download tab, so just click on it and you will get a 3 options. One is the current view. Current view is the way where I'll just show you how does the your document basically will look like. I'll download for you. My paper is getting downloaded. So there are 3 options. One is the current view, will display the similarity report. One is the single page similarity receipt, which you will have with you or you can share with your faculties. One is the originally file submitted by you. So in case you wanted to understand your original document, you can download your original document. So these are the three ways where you can download your document. I'll just show you like how does the document look like. This is the document which is being downloaded. It will give me the title of my submission, author, submission date. There is a submission ID, file name, word count and character count done automatically. And this is the original document with all similarity score matches and along with the feedback given by my instructor. So this is the original document and this is my report, dear student, which says about my similarity score. If my sources like internet publication or student, it comes under any sources, it will be highlighted. These are the primary sources, dear student. And like if you have excluded any quoted or bibliographic material or you have excluded match count in terms of word, it will also be highlighted. So as I said, please do not use this feature unless until you have permission to exclude quote or bibliographic material from your report. It will be displayed in your report, and if you have done those things, it will be automatically being highlighted to your instructor. Okay, without their permission, please do not use this feature. Okay, so you can download this document, you can do the necessary correction, you speak to your instructor, and that's it. Okay, under the Turnitin logo, dear student, there is a My Grades tab. So if there are any point value given by your instructor, it will be highlighted here. Grading, if they are being done, it will be highlighted here. There is very important thing which is the discussion part. For example, you wanted to initiate any discussion in terms of submission related topic like what are the advantage of using artificial intelligence in academic circle. If that is your point of discussion, you can initiate that discussion. So please use the only official discussion on this platform. Please do not use the other topics like which might impact the performance. So use those topics of professional importance only. There is a calendar tab, dear students. So calendar will keep you updated what are the assignment start date and the end date. Okay, what are the due dates, what your instructor has initiated. So keep tab on those things. And before we wrap up, I just share one link with you, which is www.help.turnitin.com. So in case you wanted to understand more about your role, go to this website, go to your platform, that is Turnitin Feedback Studio. Click on Turnitin website, and here is the student tab here. Just click on it. So in case you wanted to understand more about submission information, submitting papers, how to upload files, we can do from here also. Okay. So dear students, this is from my side, and I wish you all the best for your academic year. You start using your platform once you get your necessary credentials and assignments. There's one more thing. Also, please remember, this is the Turnitin.com website address where you can access your account. What I am going to do is you can unmute yourself, or you can use your chat box in case you have any queries or questions you have.
Yeah, Sachin sir, actually, I want to highlight one thing. Like I have noticed many times, like students and faculty also does the same thing. Like they give the references like on the footnotes of each page. So in that case, always the Turnitin take that footnotes as like similarity. So I think they should be clarified that references should always be given at the end of the document, and it should be highlighted at references, right?
Sure. That is correct.
I think, Anas, this may not be possible in all kind of papers, in mostly the law reviews. The pattern is that, on each of the pages, I mean, this is again standard practice. So, in each page, there's a footnotes. So the footnotes are different than the bibliography or the references. So that's why they are called footnotes. Okay. So the footnotes will be given only at the bottom of the page only.
Right. Actually, I was talking not about the footnotes, the references in the footnotes. Sometimes they give the references in the footnotes.
Yeah. So footnotes will have some kind of text or description, or something additional beyond the main text. Okay, so that's why they are called footnotes. So yes, of course, the references cannot be given as footnotes.
Yes.
But when in case of particularly the law reviews, there will be a citation of a case or a statute or some sections which looks like a reference. Okay, but this is just to explain to the footnote that in a particular judgment something has been said by a judge or something.
Right.
Thank you, sir. And dear students, like before we wrap up, just a few points of cautions to you. In case there are any mischief while writing any submissions, like if you are using any extensive use of quoted materials, or you are using any special characters to bypass similarity score, or you are hiding any specific part of your submissions by converting that into white color. If you are some are using this mischief procedures, this all things will be get caught in the similarity report. So I please request you to please do not endorse any of this misuse practices while writing your submissions. Everything will be get caught, and you might get penalty from your institution also.
I think there is very common misconception about using any plagiarism or anti-plagiarism tool. The purpose or objective of using this tool is not to bring down your similarity artificially. Okay, the purpose is for the instructor should know whether you have plagiarized any part. Okay, so this is not for you to know. I think ideally you should know whether you have plagiarized. Okay, even without benefit of any tool. Okay, this is only for the instructor that he should use some kind of tool to check your plagiarism. Okay, so I think otherwise there is no purpose, there is no use of any tool. If you are allowed to check before you submit. So it is against the whole idea of plagiarism check.
Correct.
If you are allowed to know the score and then change it, and until you come to a particular level or particular percentage of similarity.
Correct, sir. So, dear attendees, this is from my side, what sir has told. Please ensure your work is original and it meets all the criteria set by your institution in terms of original work. So, you can use the chat box, or you can unmute yourself in case you have any queries or question. I'll be also sharing my email ID with you all, so you can get in touch with your future references or queries you have. I'll just introduce my team here. Guna Bose is the team lead for South Asia. Varun, Akshay and myself, you can take down my email ID. So in case you have any queries, you can reach to us also. We will be very happy to address your concerns. I think we haven't got any queries. So sir, with your permission, can we wrap up this session, sir?
Yes, Sachin, go ahead. I think there is no other question right now in the chat.
So sir, thank you for your valuable inputs and the vision you shared to have academic integrity among all the users. I thank you from Turnitin also, sir, for expressing your thoughts. I thank Ritu madam for initiating this session, and Sayed sir for contributing to the session. Dear students, thank you for your participation. I appreciate your patience. I hope the session was fruitful. Thank you for all your inputs. We'll be getting in touch in the near future also for any upcoming session. Thank you, the leadership team, Chauhan sir and Ritu madam, for your initiative. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sachin. And just to remind you that you whatever you have to interact, about Turnitin, you should interact only through an instructor.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Please do not approach me directly for any assistance. I don't do anything about the student's account. You register yourself, your login ID and passwords. I do not control anything as far as the student accounts are concerned. So please.
Sachin sir, there is a question from a student.
Yes. Via Gupta.
A student is asking whether their quoted things will count under plagiarism. If a student has quoted
Ria, first, thanks for bringing this to our notice. If we are using quoted materials in the proper structure and format, that won't be taken into consideration. However, in case you are using extensive views in the quoted materials in your submissions, again it will be highlighted in your submission. I'll be sharing some links how can you use quoted materials in your submissions, what are the proper ways to quote that particular references in your submission. That will be helpful for you.
Well, I think just to add to that, if you are required to use quoted material, in your assignments, do that. But it will be highlighted and your instructor will see that you have where you have used the quoted material, and if this is unnecessary or this has been done unnecessarily just to avoid detection, this will not work. Turnitin only provides a report. Ultimately, it is for your instructor to assess your assignment. So if you use quoted material unnecessarily, excessively, that part is highlighted to the instructor also. So you must be very careful. Don't do this unnecessarily just to avoid detection. It's better to do it originally, read whatever you want to read, and reproduce it, in your own language. That is the way to write an assignment.
I endorse your thoughts, sir. 100% I endorse your thoughts, sir.
So thank you everybody for your time, and I hope this session was useful to everybody. And the recording will be available those who couldn't attend this session, maybe you can share this information with them.
Sir, what can I do is I'll also share the participants and attendance list with you for your record purpose also.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ritu, madam. Thank you,
Bye-bye,
sir.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.